Harold Hillman, Executive Coach. Morning to you, Harold.
Good morning, Mel.
Now, we've got a slight delay on the phones, which we've been dealing with all morning, but we'll work around that, so no problem. I hope today is going well for you. 19 months into this pandemic, New Zealand's back in its grips, of course. You're in level 4, I'm in level 4, most of the country in level 3. It helps for everyone to be a bit more proactive, doesn't it, and purposeful about their personal energy. Resilience is something that you can build, especially when you're pushing through adversity. We all need to do that. So let's talk about the 6 factors that can drive stronger personal resilience, which is what you are all about, isn't it, Harold?
Well, hey, I just came back in from a bike ride. So the whole point behind that was to just infuse a little bit of energy. What I have found, Mel, as you have indicated, is that this current lockdown has started to sap the energy from many people, many friends of mine, clients, not to mention myself. Which means that it is important for people to be more proactive. I call it being purposeful, to ensure that you preserve your energy right through to the end of the calendar year. And what I wanted to share this morning were 6 factors of resilience. To your point, the ability to push through an obstacle. These 6 factors are based on research from the Mayo Clinic, a prestigious medical institute in the States. Now, the first 2 factors speak to the importance of staying across your thinking, what I call your psychological energy. The first of those is the ability to relax, or elicit a relaxation response, where you intentionally make an effort to de-stress your mind. For some people, this might be listening to music while taking a walk along the waterfront or through the neighborhood. I've got a good friend who 2 weeks ago started to do yoga. Some people practice active meditation. The ability, particularly for those of us who are sitting at a screen for 10 hours a day, constantly bombarded by work, it is healthy to occasionally just let your psyche breathe, and that is important. And again, to be purposeful about it every day. The second factor is your ability to reframe a problem. Now, there's a natural tendency when people are anxious or feeling a bit vulnerable. That's our reality right now in the world, certainly here in New Zealand. When we get anxious or depressed, there's a tendency to pull your thinking inward and downward. And when this happens, people are just far more likely to ruminate and obsess, where they give too much oxygen to a problem that may be smaller than they're making it out to be. And so a big part of self-awareness around your resilience is knowing when you've gone too far inward and downward, and be able to push your thinking back upward and outward. Optimism is a far more compelling energy, Mel, than pessimism.
Glass half full as opposed to glass half empty.
Makes a huge difference, Mel, in terms of resilience, because optimism is psychological energy, and it's important when we're pushing through scenarios like this. The third factor is physical exercise, and this one goes without saying. It's important to build it in, not fit it in, hence me going out for a ride this morning. Sitting like, for some people, 8 to 10 straight hours at a desk is not healthy. It's important to invigorate the body. And that is, you see a lot of people out over the last week or so. As I've been out on my bike, I've seen a number of people out. The fourth component, Mel, is humor, and which correlates with resilience. And humor suggests that we are keeping things in proper perspective. Whether you be a team leader or a parent, it is important to be mindful of your shadow, and the fact that as we navigate through this scenario, it is important to sit back, step back, have a few laughs, infuse some energy through it. If people aren't laughing, or you know what I mean, if people aren't, the ability to smile, to laugh, to infuse a room with joy when they are with each other, even in their respective bubbles, it means that you want to be mindful of that.
Oh, absolutely, because it's always that thing, sort of the gallows humour as well, but also that if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. So you need to have that humour and joy in your life.
It is an important thing. I often say to team leaders, if you aren't laughing, your team probably isn't. There is, it's not to be gallows humor, to your point, but it is helpful every now and then for people to consider the bigger picture, the longer term perspective, and humor is important. The fifth factor is a strong support network. Sometimes when we are anxious, sometimes when people experience depression, there's a tendency for them to pull away from others. If you tap into, what I say to people is, build your friends in at a time like this. Don't fit them in. Build them in. It is important, particularly for people who do make you laugh. So that whole notion of humor, where you can be on the phone with a good friend who you've known for 30 years, or, just people who infuse energy into your psyche. And it really just lends itself to being able to push through the day, the week, the month a bit more effectively around it. And I would just encourage people to stay connected with your support network. It is important. And then the sixth factor, Mel, is knowing and nurturing your passion. And this is, everyone has a passion. Everyone. And sometimes we discover that passion when we're 5 or 6 years old. For me, it's writing. For some people, it's reading. For other people, it's playing music or gardening or cooking. Or pre-COVID, for many people, their passion was traveling. And so it's important for people to really understand that now you have to be more purposeful about the energy, both physical energy as well as psychological energy, as we navigate our way through this calendar year.
And also, I think with the strong support network, I always remember saying, be with people that feel like sunshine.
It makes such a big difference. Again, for those people, including me, who have sat on a screen hour after hour after hour, all in a work-related context, yes, there are people at work who absolutely infuse energy and positivity into us, but it is important for your best friends or relatives who you have not tapped into for a while, just to it makes space. Build your support network in. Don't fit them in.
Yeah, I love that one. Harold Hillman, thank you so much. Appreciate your time as always on a Sunday morning. And that's all about the 6 factors that drive stronger personal resilience. Of course, Harold's book, Empathy, was going to be released. Well, it's released now, but it was going to be launched during lockdown. So we haven't got around to that yet. But we will talk about that actually, Harold. Maybe we should actually just talk about your book next week.